thank you everybody for coming. I think you're going to find this evening well worth your while, assuming that your goal in life is to do a lot of real estate or notes or property management or whatever your thing is, but not spend 70 hours a week doing it. But one of the big issues with our industry is that we have a lot of people around us who have been very, very successful as real estate investors. And we look at those people and say, wow, I wish I had their lives. But if you really looked under the hood, you would not want their lives because they work so hard for so long that they don't really have the time to enjoy what they've built, spend time with their families, all the things we got into real estate for. Remember that? What do you want to be in real estate for? I want to have money. What do you want to have money for? So I can do what I want. And then do what I want turns out to be work 60 hours a week. So what we don't have is a whole bunch of people that we can look at and look up to that have successfully kind of made the transition from solopreneur real estate investor to actual business owner who can who can go out of town for 2 weeks, and when they come back they've still got a business. And Bob Dressman is one of those people. So we asked him to join us tonight. Many of you have seen him at the national summit, but you haven't maybe gotten to spend a whole bunch of time with him. Because not only does he do this himself, he also coaches other people to do it. So I think I've been highlighted, and I think it should maybe be Bob that's spotlighted. Here, let me see if I can spotlight Bob. There we go. There's Bob. Hi, Bob.
Live and in person.
So, um, I think we're gonna run this like what do other people want to know, not what does Vino want to know kind of meeting. And maybe there's even somebody in the audience who's really feeling this whole, I've just gotten to the point where I either gotta change stuff or I gotta quit. Like there just can't be, I can't take on another property, or I'm gonna end up divorced or something. And maybe one of those people is thinking, well, I'd kind of like to get coached by Bob. And if so, they should be thinking about that, because we may do that a little bit later on. So for the last, I don't know, 10 years, I guess it's been, you have been doing a mini session at the summit that only 12 people can attend. So most of these folks here tonight have never been there, where it's an all-day mastermind for people who are trying to actually build a business, and they are running across some problem that's keeping them from getting away from the solopreneur thing. After 10 years, you've probably seen some like commonalities. You've probably seen the same, these, three, four, five problems come up over and over again. Can you talk about just the top two or three that you see people having in building a business?
I would say probably the top one is people think the solution is more rather than figuring out how to effectively have systems and processes to deal with what you already have so that you're not and so that you're not the one who's doing everything. And everybody thinks, well, if I just get more, then I'll hire a manager and they'll take care of it. Or, um, you know, they sort of keep adding more and more problems rather than solving the ones that they have. So the big thing is people need to develop systems and processes. A lot of times people need better software because software can do an awful lot today that it couldn't do 20 years ago. I mean, I remember when I implemented my cloud-based property management system, it literally, we went from managing, probably about 150, 200 properties to getting to the point now where we manage 1,100 with a very similar level of staff. So I would say those are the two big things. And I guess the third thing is that people end up so busy running their business on the day-to-day type of stuff, they don't take the time to do the things they need to do to make the business work better.
So they spend so much time working in the
And
business,
that they forget to work on the
on the
business.
business. Yes.
Yes.
So, what I hear you saying is that everything that Michael Gerber said in the E-Myth is accurate, but people are having a hard time transferring it to their real life.
That's exactly it. It's easy. Like, I remember when I first read the E-Myth, I was so excited. I'm like, man, I'm going to do this. But it took a very long time to start to figure out what I had to do and what to implement and how to implement it. And, typically when you try and do this type of thing the first time, you end up a miserable failure. And you need to then say, okay, well, that didn't work. I can't just throw it away. I need to iterate and, figure out a better way to accomplish the things.
Okay.
So,
So you manage 1,100 properties. You also have a hard money lending business.
mhm.
You also have properties of your own. So like you're still actively out doing deals, or at least you're helping your kids do deals or something at this point. I hear people call me and they say, Bob Dressman's going to buy my house. I'm like, is he, or is that his daughter that's gonna? So I'm not keeping track of everything. You've got a business that sells properties with owner financing.
Mhm.
Did I name them all, or is that it?
That's yeah, that's mostly. I mean, like the first three are really the big three. Is we own rentals, we have the property management company, and then do the hard money lending company.
Okay. Okay.
And
And I wasn't exaggerating in the marketing for this when I said you're on vacation about 25% of the year, right?
we spent a month in New Zealand in February. Um, I go to two masterminds a year for about a week each. Walking the Cotswold Way in England. So I'm out of town August 25th to September 7th. And then we're going to Japan for about 2.5 weeks in October, right before the summit. So, yeah. And then my family reunion and this and that. And we went to
Okay.
Washington, D.C. for the 4th. And yeah, the goal is I finally convinced my wife to retire. So we're not limited by her vacation anymore. So the idea is before the grandkids start to arrive that we have places to go and things to see and
Okay.
spend time doing that rather
Okay.
than well, and the other thing too is I typically get to the office most days probably 8:30 or 9, and I'm typically leaving 12:30, 1 o'clock, so I'm working maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. So
And how do you spend the rest of your day?
I go to the gym first thing in the morning. I'll come home. I'll exercise, ride my bike, go for a walk, listen to podcasts, and you know, go out with friends. And
Okay, so the
you know,
answer is whatever the hell I want. That's
pretty much that's the idea. Well, I mean, I didn't do all this work over all these years to chain myself to a desk and you know talk to 3 million tenants a day and
yeah, well,
argue with people on.
and the reality is, just so folks aren't going, oh my gosh, but he's been doing this for many, many years now, and that's probably why he can do all this. You were business minded, like almost from Jump Street. Like I remember you talking about things you were doing and not doing because you could or could not put systems around them 25 years ago.
Well, and I think I started a long time ago. It really struck me. Actually, I think it was 2011. I was at the summit, which I don't think was called the summit back then. Um, and the guys from Life and Air came and talked. And I'm
Mhm.
like, they're exactly right. The reason we do what we do is to have a life. And it's important to live that life rather than be married to your business and spend all your waking hours doing stuff you don't like to do.
Mhm, mhm. So I'm gonna ask you one more question, then I'm going to ask other folks to ask questions, which ideally you would do by raising your hand, and then you can just talk to Bob. Um, what are some of the, since you've been doing this uh, event at the summit for folks, what are some of the big transformations? I mean, it's been a decade, so I'm sure you've now seen people that went from I'm going crazy with my 20 properties to now I have 50 and I spend almost no time on them or something like that.
The big thing is that people like we can't completely transform somebody in one session, but we can identify the one thing or a couple of things that they need to really work on. And the trick becomes so the one thing I ask everybody to do is bring their biggest problem. And the interesting thing is probably when we're talking to people, probably 50 or 60% of the time, in the process of talking to them, we figure out that their biggest problem isn't what they think it is. Like somebody will be like, well, I just need to find more deals. I'm like, okay, well, you need to find more deals when you have 10 occupied properties and 15 unoccupied properties. I seem to think you have a bigger problem there that you need to identify and deal with first. And so, and what typically tends to happen is people might have 1,000 things they need to do, but you can't do 1,000 things at once. And the big thing we'll do is we'll identify the two or three things that they can do. And what happens is when they start to accomplish those things, then they sort of get addicted to the process and do more and more of it. And they start to get their lives back and be able to really live and do the things that they want to do.
Mhm. Yeah, we call that process of having Bob say, no, that's not your problem at all, being bobbed. And many of us have been bobbed at some point during our careers here. And the time I got bobbed was when I was complaining to Bob about how our rehabs were going too slowly and the workers were always quitting, and um I hated the whole thing because like I wasn't really good at planning things out, and I certainly wasn't good at going back over and over and over again and going, wait, you did this wrong and all that kind of stuff. And he said, I think I need to hire a construction manager. And that had been my thought for like 6 months. Spend $60,000 a year on a construction manager. And he said, no, you need to build a business that doesn't require you to do rehabs. And I went, there's no, wait, maybe there is such a thing. And now I have a business that I mean, I do rental turnovers? Yeah. I just did a fairly sizable one, in fact. But do I do that? No, because those are simple enough for the property manager to oversee. Like we just did a $30,000 turnover on a rental I just bought, and I have not seen it since the day I went in and made the deal. And it's done and ready to go on the market.
And probably the people that manage that are grateful that you didn't show up and screw up what they were trying to do.
I would imagine, but also that's way simpler than
Hmm.
what I was trying to do before, trying to plan out. Like it's just like, okay, there's the bathroom. It needs a new tub. Put it in the same place as the old tub. It needs a new vanity. Put it in the same place as the old vanity. And what I was doing before was, well, maybe we could blow this wall out and put in a stand. And they don't do that with rentals. So yes, thank you for that, Bob. Okay, who has a question for Bob?
There are a couple in the chat if you just want to start there.
John Desmond would like to know what podcasts you listen to.
I listen to a bunch of travel related stuff because, like, one of my hobbies is figuring out a way to abuse the credit card companies and get them to pay for all my trips for me. And then I listened to the All In podcast, uh, which is a bunch of very rich people that run interesting businesses. And it's interesting to listen to their perspective.
It also says you mentioned the use of software. What are the main packages you use to frame your business?
So the big thing that we use is Appfolio, which is a cloud-based property management system, which is very similar to Buildium, which is probably more common for a lot of people because Appfolio typically wants you to have a minimum of 200 units. But so I think when I implemented that, that replaced 25 separate pieces of software systems. And so that just transformed and it gave it, so it handles the marketing, the um, tenant management in terms of collecting rent from tenants. We collect all our rent electronically, so literally a tenant makes a payment, it gets recorded in their tenant ledger, the money magically shows up in my bank account, it gets recorded in the checkbook register, and then um, it they apply online and it goes into there. The other thing that we just implemented recently was a plugin to it's called Rent Engine, that's actually owned by the Stringfellow's son. Um, and that has really sped up our leasing process. And what that does is the minute a tenant we have a property for rent, the minute somebody inquires, it emails them back or texts them back typically immediately. And then has them it says, "Hey, we saw you inquired about 123 Main Street. Would you like to schedule a showing? If so, click this link." It then clicks that link. They then schedule a showing, which gets accomplished through an electronic lockbox. But when they respond, it then says, "Hey, we got your time reserved, but we need you to do a couple more things." So it asks them for a copy of their driver's license and a live selfie, which it does a ton of fraud checks on. It then texts them right before they're showing. When they show up, it actually geolocates them at the property so that before it gives them a lockbox combination, so it knows it's not some fraudster in, you know, Thailand that's trying to, rent your property out for you and collect the rent. It then gets feedback from them right away. It then, uh, if they're interested, it then sends them the application link, which is mobile optimized. And then nobody really finishes an application all in one sitting. So it then but they say it nurtures that to get them to do that. It has an AI feature that like 80% of the questions people ask you about a list about one of your properties is already answered in the property listing. They just haven't bothered to read it. So when they ask the question, the AI looks at the property listing and answers the question based on your past responses and whatnot. And that's just saved us a ton of time. So
And why is this kid not a vendor at the summit? Like, I think we all want
he's
this now.
um, well, I think that they typically um, are looking for there's like a $200 a month minimum, so you need to have, and I think it costs $50 a listing. Um, but
50,
actually,
55% of the people who come to the summit own more than $1 million worth of real estate. It's the
okay,
right
so
audience.
We had a question and a follow-up. Can you clarify what was it called again and where did you get it? Is it through Appfolio?
well, it's called Rent Engine.
Okay.
Um, and it's you just go to their website and
Okay.
sign up, and they'll, and yeah, so
But
yeah.
maybe hold off for the deal they're going to offer at the summit in November. Smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I mean,
so
I was in New Zealand and talking to Eva and Aiden, and I'm like, so what does this do? I'm like, and so I called Mara and said, hey, you need to check into this software. So while I was gone, she scheduled a meeting with them and figured it out. And right after I got back from New Zealand, we started to implement it, and it's really sped things up a lot for us. So,
do you think any part of real estate investors having trouble getting the right people and the right software around them is just sheer cheapness?
oh, absolutely. Well, and it's a distrust of trying new things, and this is the way I've always done it, and it's hard to change, but as we
And
change,
how
it
and
makes our lives better.
how am I gonna have time to learn it
Hmm.
when I'm already running like
No,
crazy?
I mean, like implementing our cloud-based property management software required, we probably had to work twice as hard for 3 months, but then it probably saved us 60 or 70% of our time. So yeah, the I mean,
Absolutely.
one of the things that we like will do in the mastermind is you need to find the low hanging fruit of tasks that are relatively easier to get somebody else to do, and that then will give you the time to then find the time to implement other stuff.
Hmm. It's kind of like that debt snowball thing where you find the thing with the highest loan constant, you pay that off first so that you have more money to go back and pay off the other things. Only it's a time snowball.
That's, yeah, exactly
If I
it.
can easily do something to save myself 5 hours a week, then I can use that 5 hours a week to go save myself 10 hours a week.
Hmm. Yeah, and that once you start to get your time back, you're like, man, this is fantastic. I could do fun stuff.
It is. So hang on a second. I'm scrolling back up.
Yeah, I think there was another one.
Yeah, Cliff, can you speak aloud?
I can
Cliff,
speak aloud.
thank you.
Hey,
How are you,
Cliff.
Mr. Dressman? How are you, sir?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Great.
He
So
was
so
one of
my
my unwitting victims a couple of years ago.
Ah, okay.
He got bobbed.
So
I always appreciate you.
yeah, Cliff, you had so many questions there that I felt like something's going on with you that we maybe need to talk about, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so basically, how do you with your staff? I've had staff for a while now. I don't want to micromanage them, but I want to make sure everything's getting done where I can just we use Rent Manager, log in, check reports. As those reports come in, I can make sure that everything's done I need to get done. I have issues with due dates and just I feel like I micromanage too much instead of how did you have a balance between micromanaging and letting your staff do what they need to do to get things done and trust the process?
Well, I mean, so the first question is, do you have the right people doing the right job?
So I believe so. We have a property manager who does all of our application, leases, work orders, move in, move out inspections, our field guy. And then we have another admin who does all of our rent collections, late notices, evictions, all that kind of stuff. So we have two separate people that run it.
That was not an answer to Bob's question. He asked you if you thought you had the right people in those seats, and you just described the
Oh, yes, I do.
seats.
I do think I have the right people in the seats. Yes,
So are they
I do.
doing what they're supposed to do?
I think I need to do a better job of, how do I want to say it?
Again, you're not
Expectations.
answering the question.
Yes, I think they're doing what they're supposed to do. I
Okay,
guess
then what's the
I
problem?
don't. The problem is I feel like I'm missing. I don't know if everything's getting done on time, and I don't know if everything's getting done to the quality that I want done.
Okay, well, so I had a real job for 1 year of my life, And my boss at the time, I was fresh out of college and starting lawn service slash handyman service. And with with that, my boss always said you need to inspect what you expect. So, you know, you probably need to. I mean, so what they'll talk about, like in Rocket Fuel and some of the other books, is you need what they call KPIs, which are key performance
Yep.
indicators
Okay.
that would give you a clue as to whether stuff is happening. So, like, you could, with your collections, you could run a collection report and call the person who's doing your collections up and ask them about the payment plans they have set up with people. And like, is there a person that's 6 months delinquent that you haven't given a notice to yet? Or with the person that's doing your leasing, how many vacancies do you have? Is that normal? What's your time on the market for your vacancies? What's your time for your turnovers?
So I hear you saying that, but how do I do that so the staff's doing that and I'm not the one taking care of that?
Let
If
me
I'm
Okay.
hearing you right.
let, let me ask a question. You said you're not sure whether they're doing it to the level that you'd like to see them doing it, and you're not sure that do you literally mean you're not sure, or is that a way of saying they're not?
So I'm trying to think how to describe it. I think they do a good job. I don't think it's to my level of expectations because I haven't set the expectations as clearly as I need to set them.
Yeah.
Is what
Well,
I think's
Right.
happening. So I like the
well,
Pareto's
KPIs.
principle.
What
Pareto's principle here falls in, especially when we're very organized and trying to make everything perfect.
well, so the other thing that I hear you saying is I would like to manage by abdication,
Yes.
and you can't do that.
Okay.
And so, because you have people that work for you that do stuff, doesn't mean you get to do nothing. You need to be checking in on them to see if they're doing their job. And
Weekly meeting is what we do now.
okay, well, and so that can work, but then you also need to have some objective way to tell if what they're telling you is actually what's happening. Because there will be times that you have people that are very good at um, spinning a very good tale, but not as good at actually doing the things that they say they're going to do. Um, so, it's back to those KPIs of, um, and at this point, you could even, have an AI agent that would go into your software and pull the reports and email it to you if once a week. So all you'd have to do is open your email and look at the report it sent you.
What
Okay.
what do your weekly meetings look like?
So we just have an agenda. They look like we use rent managers. So I go in there every week, pull reports out for delinquencies, rent paid on time, work orders, collections, everything that has to do with our just the rental business. And then I just make sure the reports are in there. If they're not, we use Slack to update. If something wasn't done, you go into Slack and tell me why I didn't get done on time. And then what are we going to do to get it done? Um,
Well,
I-
Okay,
so can
Dad.
you give us an example of what's not being done to your standards?
so for instance, we had an an eviction. So in Louisville, it's they're 3.5 months. So Gary's supposed to ride by the property every couple weeks, see the person's there or not, and then he's supposed to update me. Well, that wasn't getting done. I forgot about that particular property, so finally I end up looking at our rent register, and they hadn't paid rent in 2 months because they were in eviction. So I ended up riding over there. Well, the grass was a foot high, electric was off. They had moved out. He did not do what he was supposed to do. I needed to do a better job of identifying that problem and asking him why that didn't get done and how do we get that done? How do we fix that problem? So that squeaked through the cracks on
And,
this.
and so how did you deal with that?
We put a procedure in Asana that has him as the rent is not getting paid, that he has a follow-up to go by and drive by the property and see if somebody's living there
Okay. And so, so you have this procedure that he's supposed to do that. How does he report that he did that?
through Slack.
Okay. And so but like, do you have a list of properties that are in eviction?
Yes, we pull that through Rent Manager through our weekly reports.
And then does he that like so like the one thing you could do is just have him
It's
send
right
you
through the cracks.
notes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But like you could say, hey, send me a list once a week of all the properties that are under eviction and what your thoughts are based on your drive-by. So, was somebody there? Yes or no? Is the grass 3 feet high? Yes or no? Are the utilities on? Yes or no?
I agree. Okay.
And so, but yeah, you need to, and then when an employee is not doing something, it's frequently important to ascertain why they didn't do it. And like one of the reasons they might not do it is they don't perceive that you think it's important, or they have too much to do and they're having trouble managing their time, or, it's your job to give them the tools they need to do a good job with their job.
I agree with everything you said. I think it's a mix of all of that. I think I need to set expectations better on what I expect from them, and then hold them accountable if deadlines don't get met, or give me an answer what we need to do to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
what you're
and
saying? Go ahead.
yeah, well, at that, and it's important that you be kind to the people because your goal is to your employees, because your goal is to have them stick around for a long time. But simply saying, hey, why isn't this happening? And, let them fumble for a little bit, which is fine. But say, okay, well, we all make mistakes. Let's move forward. And then just you then have in your mind, okay, I need to, probably be more cognizant on following up on that particular item for a while. And then once you see that they're doing it consistently and well into your standards, that doesn't mean you can skip following up with them on that, but you can probably make your follow-ups be less frequent.
Okay. And I think I do doing a better job of that. I hear you saying that, and I can hear myself going through my head. I do a much better job of the follow-up because sometimes I get busy and forget to follow up as regularly as I should on that.
Okay, so what system can you use to remind you to follow up
I
on
love what
certain
you just said
things?
about an AI agent and emailing me every morning on the reports and
Yeah.
getting prepared for before every. I can just get an update every morning of what I got going on.
Yeah. I mean, and like like one of the things that I do for myself, as dumb as it sounds, is I'll send myself a scheduled email that, I'll send like I need to follow up on this 3 months from now. And so I'll just send myself an email that hits my email box 3 months from now, just because I function more off my email than I do a calendar. And if I just put something on my calendar, I might forget. Whereas I look at my email and check the items off in there every day and deal with the things. So,
Okay.
Cliff, have you read Traction?
I feel like I've read it a long, long time ago.
Okay, the meetings you're having with these people are not level 10 meetings. You can just get the book and flip to that section about the level
Okay.
10 meetings. The
I think
the
Cliff
meetings
might
you're
be
having,
better off getting the audio version of that
okay,
based on.
but what you're having is touch base meetings, which are also important, but they're not touch base meetings aren't problem solving meetings. Touch base meetings are, hey, we had 13 vacancies last week. How many do we have this week? How come this one's been vacant for 7 weeks, right? That's a touch base meeting. They might want to have with each of these two people separately since they have two different things. But a
Okay.
level 10 meeting is more like, let's deal with this issue. This is we've the drive-by is important because it's costing us time and money that we could be getting in there and turning it over and getting it rented. We can't seem to consistently do that. What ideas do we have? Anything, brainstorm, anything. What are consistent? So it's more of a like a collaborative meeting. Are both of these people direct reports to you?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not that one reports to the other one, it's they both.
No, they both report to me. Yes, we meet
Mm.
every Friday and go over a weekly meeting and go through reports. And I'll revisit traction and I'll go on that chapter because I agree with you, Vina. That is, we do touch base and not problem solve and not get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Do you,
Fix it.
with your meetings, do you look at the reports ahead of time, or do you pull the reports during the meeting and start looking at them when they're there in front of you?
Great question. And it all depends on that week and what we got going on. I try to do it beforehand, but sometimes with everything else we got going on, it's that as we're in the meeting, I go through and look through them.
I think they
Oh,
might perceive that you doing things on the fly is disrespecting them. And so if they're spending the time to come to you, or they're spending, like, they're in this meeting, you should know what you're talking about before you ever show up at the meeting. And they should identify the things they want to talk to you about and let you know about that ahead of time. And you should identify the things that you want to do ahead of time. So, I mean, I don't know if you just need to schedule yourself for, an hour before the meeting so that you have time to
Oh, it
ascertain
should
what
be
to
an
talk about.
hour. Oh, should be half an hour max. And then the meeting itself should be half an hour max. Like
yeah, it's usually about a half hour, 25, 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
yeah, I make my staff come. We've got KPIs, but I don't put them together. The staff is responsible for the reporting them to me. And then I can just go through and went, whoa, my gosh, why did we have such a drop off this week in whatever or last
Well,
week?
and hopefully, once you've done that a couple times, they'll look at them before they send them to you and be ready for an answer with you once they get used to being asked those questions when something gets out of line and they realize, hey, there's a reason we have these things.
Perfect. You
I
bob
have
me
I,
again. I appreciate you.
I have one touch base meeting at 7:45 on Monday mornings with my key person, and then about a half an hour long level 10 meeting with the three most key people, four counting me, on Tuesdays. And it's a half an hour because, man, I cannot stand sitting in meetings for hours on end. Neither
I
can anybody that I want to be around.
understand. Okay.
Once you
Thank you
set the
all.
expectations, a lot of times they will be actually sending you the reasons or whatever before you get into those meetings. After about 6 weeks, you know what's coming. They understand what they've sent you. It really makes things move very smoothly.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll soak it all in and implement.
So is what just happened, Bob, kind of what happens at the mastermind meeting
That's
at the summit?
exactly it. And I mean, and the cool thing is that, we'll have, 10 or 12 different groups in the room. And there are times that I can drill down on an issue, but there are an awful lot of times where, it's the other members of the mastermind that are helping solve the problem. And, you're typically in a room with people that have had the same problems that you have and have been through what you're going through, so they can identify what's going on and tell you what worked for them too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, who else has questions?
I posted one in the chat.
Well, tell me what it is, or tell Bob what it is.
Bob, I didn't want to ask you what specific masterminds you attend, but what types of masterminds do you attend, and how do you benefit from those masterminds?
Well, so I have one mastermind that I go to that happens twice a year, and it's a group of us that just get together, and we've been getting together now for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. And so we know each other real well. And we, the advantage of being in a group where people get to know you is there's less introductory, and there's also people are more capable of holding you accountable on what you said you were going to do. And, if you say in December, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then you show up in April and they're like, well, so did you do that? You say, no. Well, then you feel bad and you realize, okay, well, I need to go do that. So it's just a group of us that we get together and split costs and do, and I, and it's probably like there are a lot of like you need to make sure that the philosophy of the people that are in the group are the same as yours are. Like so there are some of the big masterminds that I've had friends that go to that is really focused on everybody beating their chest and saying I'm better than everybody else. And that push people to do more and more and more rather than have a life and build a business that they want. So, I mean, I think it's important that if you're going to be in a long-term mastermind, it be one that the people's philosophy is where you want to be, as opposed to, some that your goal is just to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Or I've been in a couple of masterminds that I ended up leaving because there were people that were there to not tell you what they were doing. It was like they were there to learn what you were doing. But if you asked them to share what they were doing, it got all vague. And that doesn't work either. If you're going to a mastermind, you got to be there to give as much as you get, if not more.
Well, then, I mean, the other thing too is it needs to be a group of people that you trust, because there are a lot of times that things can get very personal, and you need to have the confidence that you can say what you need to say and people aren't going to come back at you with it.
True story.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's hard.
Randy.
It's hard to find a group that meets all of those requirements. There's
Which means when
hundreds
you
of them out
do,
there, but very few really hit that you want to stick with.
yeah, when you do, you got to stick with it. That's the thing. I've been in a mastermind group now for, well, it started out to be a really easy mastermind group that I just showed up at, and then the guy running it decided he didn't want to run it anymore, and then it became my responsibility to set up the meetings and everything. But that's been going on since, I guess, it's been 10 years this year, and we're still meeting 3 times a year. It's basically the same group of people with a couple of replacements. So, Randy, did you have a question?
I did. And Vina, I put my hand down before I started speaking, so I didn't leave it up. That's a first for me. Hey, Bob, my question to you is I brought up your business building mastermind for the National Summit. I see that. My question is, in addition to that one-day event, then do you have an annual mentoring program that comes out of that? And is your approach even beyond business? Is it kind of the whole life approach and why you want to have the business?
It's very much that way. And but to answer the first part of your question, that's something I've threatened to do, but have never done. I basically love running a mastermind. I hate doing the marketing for it, and signing up the people and dealing with all that. And so I love the process. I just am not good at the marketing and don't want to spend the time. I don't want to travel around the country and do this and do that. So I've threatened to do it, but haven't yet. It may be in the works. We'll see.
Are you disappointed that somebody who was speaking at the summit didn't have anything else to sell you?
No, that wasn't it. It was just more about I can see how it'd be beneficial going to this for the day, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave there going, I've got 100 more questions than I do have answered yet.
Yeah, but you know
I mean,
what you can do? You can get together with the other people who were in your cohort in that room and meet with them. You can meet with them by Zoom. You know, most masterminds, what they do is they meet by Zoom like 10 or 9 months a year and then meet in person 2 or 3 times a year.
and honestly, what ends up happening is the day ends up being pretty intense for a lot of people, and we end up forming good relationships with each other. And so we end up doing a lot of stuff. That typically that day isn't the last time we see each other. You know, we'll call each other on the phone, we distribute, and or you know, like for there's a group of people that um, for people that are from Cincinnati will go to Strong's up in Reading and just sit around and talk every couple months, and you know, do things like that. So
Reading, California?
Reading, Ohio.
Oh, Reading, Ohio. I'm going to
Nice,
say
right
you're
now.
going to the same place Merle Haggard used to go to.
I have a
Very good.
mastermind group that's about 10 years old that still gets together on a quarterly basis.
That's probably what I should do. Well, I have one other question for you too, Bob. I'm in a deal with a couple other people on land, and we're selling mobile homes. And so I listened to you the other night, or maybe it was Wednesday, but how would I get a hold of you to ask you about doing land contracts for mobile homes and land?
So
You would
best way is
come
my
to the meeting
email.
tomorrow. We've got a noontime meeting tomorrow for
Yeah, I'm
you,
going to
and
come to that one too.
Or the
Yes,
thing you're
Bob.
already in, Randy.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I've got it
The-
scheduled. I got it on my calendar.
well, I'll give you my email address is repobob@gmail.com. If you send me an email, repo like a foreclosure, Bob like
Yep,
my name at Gmail.
at Gmail.
And
Thank you.
if you include your phone number, what will probably happen is I'll call you and call you back when I'm available, and we'll sort
Or
through
you
some of
could
this stuff.
ask your question in front of everybody else so that they can learn from it too.
You want me to ask now, or you want me to ask tomorrow?
Tomorrow at noon,
Tomorrow at noon. I'll see you all tomorrow at noon, and I'll
9
ask my
a.m. your
question.
time. Yep. Jesse.
Convena's not even charging me for my time or your time. So, thank you very much. Good to meet you.
Jesse, what you got?
Thank you. Yeah, really appreciate this this hearing how you run your business. So one of the question I have, I'm more at the beginning of the journey, but in setting up a business that doesn't eat you alive from the start, what part of it is systems versus like choosing a well, let's take a step back, like in aligning the business you build with the goals you have, what's sort of trial and error and learning and just going through it, and what can be sort of built or designed in all of that? Like, how do you think about that?
So one of the things they had us do at the Life and Air retreat we had in Cincinnati many, many years ago was they gave you a schedule and said, okay, what I want you to do is put on the schedule everything you want to do with your life that has nothing to do with work. And then their next thing was, okay, now that you have this, you need to develop a business that you can do in the rest of the time that's left. And so just that mindset is actually very different because, you know, it's one of Stephen Covey's things. You begin with the end in mind. And so rather than creating this awful business you can't deal with, you know what you want your life to look like. And then you create a business that fits into that life rather than having your life fit into your business. Does that answer your question?
That Yeah, that does. Let me ask a follow-up, which is because businesses have realities to them. At as we know. How would you go about the discovery of that, or asking people to learn, like, what is a business that both can meet the financial needs I would expect it to and would fit into my life? I think I've lived a life where I've probably overemphasized writing the schedule of what I want to do versus committing the time to building the underlying business structures. And I'm trying to come back the other direction. And I feel a little, I'll be honest, oh, after having left the mainstream, a little overwhelmed by like the amount of time people spend on their businesses, the structures they set up, maybe because that's what they're used to. I don't know. But like, I'm trying to come back more to the center from the other direction. And there's, well, just to put it simply, there's a lot of fantasy being sold out there. Oh, yeah, go buy a couple houses, you'll retire in 2 years or whatever it is. And so I'm trying to do
I
something
want
that
that
meets
course. How
my
do I get
goals,
that
but
course?
stay.
Well,
Well, you can pay for the course, but it doesn't teach you anything.
Oh, damn it.
so are you unhappy with your life now?
I know I like my life a lot now, but it doesn't. I live on very little, and I haven't built the financial structures that can support me going forward. And I would say the other part is I think entering into more exchange and building in the world would be good for me. So those are two things that are drawing me out.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I don't have I don't have a consistent income. I don't have like my save, I don't have like retirement plans. I don't have things like that. And I want to build more in the world. I live in the woods on 40 acres by myself, which I love most of the time, but I've just been getting the message that I need to go out and build a little more in the world.
I I mean, I think I would be very careful because it sounds to me like you are imposing other people's values on your life. And
There's
so,
probably, there's definitely some of that.
and so, like I'll be the last person that says you shouldn't save for retirement and, have assets. But I see way too many people that spend so much time building that they actually forget to live. And there are a lot of people that confuse activity with profitability. Um, like, so in the one mastermind that I go to, there was a couple of people in that had a hard money lending business that was roughly that did twice the volume that mine does. They had probably 10 employees and were making 10% of the money that I was. Whereas, my hard money lending business, it's myself and my daughter. And we spend maybe 5 to 10 hours a week dealing with it. So you need to just be very, very careful that whatever you implement fits with your values and what you want from life. And
Thank you. Yeah. I think, yeah, that's been my fear as I step in because I love, I mean, there are distinct limits I could go into further about how my life is functioning at the moment that are leading me this way, and it feels true. But I think I'm going slower because I do love my life, and I see there's a lot of businesses that are not profitable. And I think one of the key goals I have is making my time more valuable, not just working more,
yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
what I hear you describing and how you're running your business.
and one of the things I like to do is I try a lot of different things, and then I'll find something that I like, and then I'll do that 1,000 times. And but I try not to be doing a bunch of different things outside. So And what I'll typically do is once I find something that I like, I create a system for it. And so that other people can do 80-90% of what needs to be done, because I tend to be a little ADD and I'll go, um, uh, I have a hard time doing the same thing the same way all the time. And, so much to the point where the people that work for me don't want me to do certain things because I'm so bad at doing it. Um, but I'm good at figuring out what needs to be done and telling somebody and working with them to get them to do it. But just if I have to do it, we're in serious trouble a lot of the time. So
Thank you. Yeah, that grounds me and helps me a lot in where I'm at.
Jesse, you need to read Life in There.
I couldn't hear you, Sam.
You need to read the book Life in There.
I just
Put it in the chat. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I put it in the
Life in
chat.
Air. Oh, there we go. I see.
I gave you a couple other books to maybe read as well further up in the chat. I mean, the good news, Jesse, is you have not already built some monster. Like I think everybody here built the monster first and then went, what the and then had to figure out how to unbuild it.
Yep.
So it's good. It's actually, you're in a good position of, I can just build this right to start with instead of getting to the point where I can't create any systems because I'm so busy trying to keep all the balls in the air that I don't have time to sit down and create any systems.
It's a good reminder, and I feel lucky. I have enough resources that I don't have to force anything. I can build it at a pace and learn and enjoy, like Bob's talking about. And I kind of do the same thing, diving into things deep. And so I just appreciate it. Thank you both for your support and encouragement.
Jesse, I truly appreciate what I've seen you do over the last about 18 months now. You're walking a very good
6
path.
months, 8 months.
No, you've been with Corey for about a year and a half now.
No, I came my first meeting was the December contest for like the deal of the year. That was my first meeting with you all. So
wow, it seems longer.
Okay.
It does, but that's a good.
Michael.
Thank you, Bob. This is really great information. Could you recommend some of your favorite resources to help one learn how to build a property management business?
So, like, do you have a property management business now, or you own rental properties, or?
I don't have a property management business. I manage some rentals, but not not on scale. And I do have a broker's license too, by the way. So
Okay. What software are you using now?
I don't have the right software. So
Okay. The advantage of one of the broad-based property management softwares, so Ability, Mapfolio, Rent Manager, those type of things, is it gives you a framework to put everything. And then that doesn't mean there's not stuff outside of there that you need to do, but it sort of gives you a framework to tell what's happening. And it sort of, if you go into it and say, I'm going to do everything in here. I mean, because there are a lot of people that buy the software and then don't use it, which, paying for the software doesn't get you the results. It's actually using it that does. So I would suggest that would be a real good step, is to implement, something like Buildium for your properties and see how that sort of puts structure around what you're doing already. And that'll help you also see what's working and what's not and what you need to work on.
Okay. Is any other recommendations, like as far as learning the business, how the best property managers run their business?
I just figured it out by doing it. And well, I mean, so like, do you listen to like Jeffrey Taylor at all?
Not recently, but I have in the past.
Okay. I mean, so listening to some of those type of people um, can be helpful.
Lindsay
Um,
Jensen.
who? Oh,
Lindsay
Lindsay.
Jensen. Yep.
Yeah. And um, then she studied under David Tilney.
Yep.
And David still does his class, doesn't he?
His son is doing it for him now and only online, is my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay. But Lindsay's a lot of fun and you'd enjoy listening to her.
Thank you.
Teaching it all
Sure.
day at the summit this year.
So is Lindsay coming?
Yep, teaching it all day.
Oh, that should be
Yeah.
fantastic. Everybody should go see Lindsay.
Alan.
Hey there, Bob. How are you? Good to see you.
Fabulous, Alan.
Yeah, so it's been 4 or 5 years since I did the mastermind, and my question was going to be, um, should I be coming back? What would that be? What will I pick up? But
Do you have different problems in your
yeah,
business
I
now
know.
than you
He's
did
been
5
answering the
years ago?
question. Yeah, so I almost don't need to ask that question anymore because yeah, I definitely have different problems. And one of them gets around to the whole mastermind groups. Okay, I don't have any outside mastermind groups, but I do have some accountability groups. And lately, one of them specifically, I'm kind of feeling, well, it's really not benefiting me that much. And I'm, starting to wonder, well, is that because, it's me? I'm trying to schedule and block things. So I only do certain things, with certain time periods, trying to give myself time to work on different items. But then the whole reporting thing, I don't know, it just feels like we're meeting to meet and we're not meeting to hold each other accountable. And so probably need to review that a little bit.
I mean, if it's not working for you, so question number one is, are you showing up prepared? And number two, or do you find the other people in the group's input helpful? And and so yeah, maybe it's time to just find another group, but maybe it's also, maybe you need to show up more prepared for the group too.
Yeah, I think the answers were yes and yes. So maybe I'm just expecting something different. We're trying to get back to the basics and go back through the whole, like you said, like the life and air. What does your wheel look like? What are your top three? What are your rocks? And making sure we talk about those. And we often go more than half an hour.
Have you addressed this with the other people in the group?
Yeah, we've talked about it and we do revisit it from time to time. So,
well, no, have you talked about this like malaise? I don't feel like we're getting anything done here.
Yeah, the last couple calls.
Okay.
How often are you guys meeting?
Once a week for the past 3 years plus.
That seems like a lot to me.
Oh my God,
That's a lot.
No, it's not. Once a week for 20 minutes is like the perfect amount of time to meet for accountability. If I think let me guess what's happening here, because I've had this happen too, and when we straightened it around, it fixed it. Y'all are no longer really working on rocks. Because like defining those rocks and making sure they're big needle moving things is, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention at the beginning of every quarter, and you've really got to challenge each other about, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I don't see how that's going to move your needle. Give me something that's going to move your needle. Or I see how it's going to move the needle, but is it the right needle? You've been talking for 2 years about how your main goal was not work as much, and now you're telling us your rock for this thing is for this quarter is going to make you work more. Or the lost it. It usually turns out that people have stopped actually setting rocks. They're just saying like something easy that they know they can come and report every week and it'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think I've probably fallen in that trap too. So yeah, you're probably right. Thank you.
Are the people in your meeting people that you respect?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would never get anything done if it wasn't for my weekly rocks meeting. That's not true. I would get a lot of things done, but I would not get anything done on the most important thing.
You just get the wrong things done.
Right, because I have a hard time, like apparently 78.3% of all real estate entrepreneurs, I am literally diagnosably ADD, and things that require work over a long period of time there's no way, like if you had a week to sit down and do it, you could not complete it in a week. Does not go well with my brain. So it's only been having these meetings every week for many years now that allows me to go, okay, this is the thing I need to be doing, and am I on track or off track? I mean, our meetings are very regimented, so literally if there's 5 people in the group, it takes 15 minutes. 20 if we want to do anything for the good of the group at the end.
Yeah, I remember you stressing out in Hocking Hills because you couldn't get on your call at noon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well that was a call that people had paid me to be on, so like that was oh no, that was, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was the rocks meeting. I ended up having to text Sarah and to give my report. Ashley.
Hey, Starlink is great.
Vina, a question. Would that be a subject, real estate investing for ADDs?
We actually have an expert on that topic coming to the summit. I haven't specifically asked him to talk about that, but Brian Buckaloo, that is literally what he studies. The guy who's teaching the kids, his whole life has been in like brain
Brian is
development.
amazing.
And yeah,
He is absolutely amazing to
Yeah,
listen to on this topic.
because it's getting distracted and here's the squirrel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every kid in that class last year that I asked said this was the best year ever of the youth academy.
oh yeah. So if you have an 8th to 12th grader and you haven't gotten them signed up for that yet, you might want to do that.
Yeah, do it tonight before you go to bed.
Ashley.
Hi there. I'm new to this group, so and I'm not sure if the business that I have is too small for what we're discussing. The business that I currently have is I have 11 apartment rentals. They're all multifamily. I have 1 single family residence, 7 buildings, and my whole business is run cash. So I have no software systems that I really use. I do everything by hand. I've done compliance in the past, so I'm really good about keeping everything in compliance with all, local, state, and federal laws. What my question is if I'm going to be scaling up an apartment size, like say moving up to 32, 64, or something above that, as far as, more apartments, would you think that would be the right way to go, or just starting a property management business? Because I could do it with the software. I've done software before. But I'm just wondering if, I love the property management business. I used to work with a broker that had a property management company, and out of the 12 businesses he owned, the property management made the most money.
So property management is something that nobody likes to do, and very few people do it well. So, and with, so when you say your business is all cash, does that mean that your tenants hand you $100 bills and you go to their door to collect their rent?
That is correct, yes. And the other side of that is that was how my husband always ran the business. And when he passed away 3 years ago, I just kept doing the same thing. So I've been in commercial for a long time. And so I understand how to run it where it's not a cash business, but right now it currently is. Sorry.
Well, so with most of the big software programs, they have multiple ways that you can accept payments. So tenants, like with us, tenants can pay by an ACH for free. They can pay with cash by showing up with a pay slip to Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and handing that person their money. Or they can pay with a credit or debit card. And there is no way you can scale your current business if you're going to continue collecting cash from everybody.
Right. No, I have to move. Yeah, correct. I do have to go software, and I get that. But over the past like 2.5 years, I renovated 8 of the 11 apartments. So I've actually been gone from my apartment since December. That's why I'm here in Florida. I'm here helping my elderly parents. So I'm hoping to get back in the next month to get back there. But I've had my attorney collecting my rent, my rents.
That's the highest and best use of your attorney's time.
Well, he cut me a really good deal. So, and it's somebody that I trust. It's hard to trust a lot of people with money when you're dealing with that much cash.
I would suggest that you collecting that much cash in person is terribly dangerous and something that you should not be doing.
It can be. Yeah, that's true.
And I would think you absolutely need to, get some software and start finding a different way to collect your rents.
Okay. So because I'm good at managing properties, because I usually only work like 4 to 6 days a month. I don't work very much. I mean, when I wasn't renovating, I have a lot of free time just because, they pretty much run themselves, once you have good tenants in there. So,
well, I mean, I would guess that if you, what part of the world do you live in?
Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. I am confident that there are lots of people in Dayton that would love to hire you to do an excellent job managing their properties.
I'm sure.
But you would absolutely, if you're going to scale, you need good software because otherwise your life will become hell pretty fast.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I'm wondering is just if I was going to scale the apartments, or would it be better just go straight into learning, starting a property management business and going that route?
Well, the fun thing about property management is it gives you a way, it sort of plugs you into the market, and you'll probably find deals through being a property manager. Just there'll be people that decide they want to sell, or that maybe somebody calls you to hire you as a manager, and when you tell them what it's going to cost to get their property in a condition that would actually make it a functional rental, they'll say, I can't afford that. And your option can be, hey, I'll buy that property from you.
What a great business to be in.
Yes.
I love it because ever since I saw what that broker did with the property management business, it's just such an awesome business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you need to have the right temperament for it.
Right.
And I'm
ADD as well, so I have the right temperament.
Okay.
So, but the hard money lending is
the right temperament.
Yeah, that is true. The hard money lending, does that kind of just come along with it? Just, with being in the REIAs, I've been in a number of REIAs, just, putting yourself out there. So if you want to do hard money lending, you can do that.
So I've never advertised my hard money lending. It's all referrals from one person to another, to another, to another. Now, the trick with hard money lending is you need to be pretty knowledgeable, and you need to be able to sort out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And so, because very few people always tell you the truth up front, and you have to be able to ascertain, the difference between what somebody's telling you and what the reality of the situation is.
seems to be true in everything.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
what group do you belong to, Ashley?
I've been in Central Florida, REIA, sorry, Central Florida REIA. When I lived
CFRI,
in
yeah.
Florida, yeah, CFRI. And then I also belong to the Cincinnati REIA. Is that this one? I think no, it's Greater
Well,
Cincinnati,
this is
DC.
this is
Ohio.
OREIA. This is
Yeah.
all the
Yes.
all the
All
all the
Ohio.
RIAs in
Okay.
Ohio, plus a bunch of people who aren't from Ohio.
But
So
trust us, Ashley. We got your back here with some RIA GC members.
RIA, yeah. So RIA has a meeting on Friday mornings where
Okay.
people who are looking for money come to look for money, and also there are people there who will partner with you on your first few
Oh, okay.
private money deals so that you don't
Lose
screw it up,
everything.
because
Gotcha.
there's a lot
Okay.
of there's a lot of due diligence,
right.
there's a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
It
That would be great.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is very easy. It has shifted
Okay.
significantly enough that people who got into the business while it was only going up are finding themselves confused that the property that they're paying 90 cents on the dollar for today isn't worth 120 cents on the dollar by the time they're ready to sell it. So yes, just
Great.
always ask for help whenever you're doing something the first time.
Okay. All right.
Always ask for help.
I think I'll join then. I'm not a member, but I think
Deborah.
I'll join. Thank you.
So
Ashley,
Ashley,
It's a
oh,
good
I'm
group.
sorry.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Well, I was just going to say two quick things to Ashley. Ashley, there is a Dayton RIA that you could also join if you're looking very locally, especially if you get into your property management stuff. They would be a great reference. I think they've posted it in the chat if you want to look at it. They've got a link there, Greater Dayton RIA. Secondly, I will second, and it is not just handling cash, but I will second Bob's comment of it is very, I would just say, unsafe going door to door in this climate. I think it was, Vina, you probably remember maybe a decade ago, we had somebody in Northern Kentucky was murdered going, collecting late rents. It's just, so I would just encourage everybody, there's almost no reason to be doing that with technology these days. Please, please, please keep your safety in check. There's a lot of angry people nowadays, and you just never know what's going on. Secondly, I have a question for Bob. Since we do have some relatively new to the industry people, I've heard you talk about, your systems and whatnot, but I want to scale it down just a little bit for someone who's maybe just starting out. Like, I didn't do systems when I first started. I do not have 200 properties, but eventually when I realized it after hearing it many times at the National Summit, sat down and simply started systematizing very specific parts of my business. I didn't sit down and systematize the whole thing at once. So, I had a vacancy and I went, okay, let me systematize, how do I fill a vacancy? And so every time I did something, I wrote it down and wrote it down and wrote it down. And then the next time I had a vacancy, I went through that list. I went, oh, I forgot this and I forgot that, and added it up. And now I have a very good rent up system. I know exactly what to do to screen my tenants. I know exactly how to do this. I know exactly what to do when I go to sign a lease. I have that all checklist out and is ready to go. And then I went and systematized another part of my business. And that took over a year. Do you have a recommendation of sort of breaking down the parts of your business that you could systematize, even if you don't have, Appfolio or Buildium or something sort of? I just did it on Word. I literally just typed it out. So there was a system in place.
And that's exactly the way to do it is, I think, and especially if you're going to hire somebody else to do that, writing a procedure in Word works. And then also if it involves some sort of computer work, one of the things that can be very effective is to use screen recording software and go do the thing that you're showing somebody else how to do and just record yourself doing it 5 or 10 times. And that also gives you the chance to find some of the anomalies that you might be missing. But yeah, like just you can't do the whole thing at once, and what you're doing is very good. And I would just maybe add some screen recording software. And some of that too is that different people learn in different ways. So some people are visual learners, some people are audio learners. And so it's good to have multiple formats for people to use.
And for people who are not necessarily looking to go crazy or not looking to, oh, well, eventually I'll hire somebody else out or whatever, think about what parts of your business, if you were to get hit by a bus, can your spouse come in and collect all the rent? Do they know how to do that for 6 months? Can somebody else file your taxes or find all those documents? So maybe you don't systematize all of it, but think about the parts of it that if you're incapacitated, somebody else is going to have to do stuff. And how can they do that? And can you put that in a system that they can follow for a short period of time?
We're having a
And
class on
if
that
I could
in 2
add,
weeks.
if I could add to that, also make sure that you have whoever needs to be able to sign checks, whatever it is in your stead, already established and documented so that you can say, this is where this is. Because I'm going to tell you, it's very, very difficult to do that when you're not able to.
Mhm.
Scott, did you really raise your hand at 8:59 p.m.?
Yeah, I did. But I'm going to ask the question later because I just realized it is 9:59 and I'll ask Bob privately. It's fine. It's no big deal. Thanks.
Ask the
Well, I
question,
mean, you
quit.
are the president of the group, so you're
That's
allowed
true.
to ask the
So Bob, this is
question
sort of
if you want
a
to ask the
different,
question.
this is a different end uh of the life cycle. So I've got a business. My businesses are they have procedures are great. We've got all the right people in all the right spots. Uh, but I'm scaling back parts of the business. And so the thing that I struggle with, I guess just what's your opinion, is I I don't it's not the best financial decision, but I don't want to let anybody go. I feel responsible for their life, their earnings, their families, and all this kind of stuff. So it's like I'm scaling back, the business is less. So now I've got the same staff and I mean, it's costing me money. In other words, I don't need that staff. And I've been trying to find positions for them outside other places. But do you have any other recommendations? It's the worst business decision I've ever made, probably to keep people on. But I just, I love all my staff. They're great. They're awesome. I mean,
Scott,
yeah.
okay, let's ask a question. Who in the Cincinnati, Dayton, Northern Kentucky, Middletown, Hamilton Metroplex is looking for some really good employees?
No, I don't know. I mean,
No, I'm asking the room.
No,
I'm asking the
I'm not sure, but I have a feeling if they're working for Scott, they could definitely fill some of my spots.
yeah, and like you could go to the Hampton once on Friday and say, "Hey, I have some great staff members that I'm
that
slowing down and need to."
You can vet their
buy,
next employer.
yeah, but buy sell trade employees doesn't really have a good
that
feel to it.
does smack of, yes, some things that we decided many, many, many
That's a
years
little bit
ago
of a
were
problem.
not.
But
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah.
well, your other alternative would be to find somebody who wants to buy your business from you.
Well, and I have, but they aren't going to want those employees. I have also thought is, do I enter into another business venture, which is sort of one of the things you said, Bob. I don't know who we were talking to. I forget. I think it was Jesse. Is that sometimes I let other people's opinion about what I should do, right? Their values influence what I want to do. Mastermind group I'm in, my mentor in that says the same thing. He's like, you're talking numbers. This is profitable, but it's not what you want in life. So you need to sell it. You need to be done with it. And then I struggle though, because I'm thinking, well, do I need to start something else so that X person has because they're a great employee. I wouldn't want to lose them.
Well,
I'll
but
take them.
like
So
certainly,
Scott, I got this question. Should you send them to Bob Dressman's mastermind at the summit so that they have a better position? And that same question goes for everybody on this call. If you're trying to grow something, should you be reaching out and making sure that you're signed up for Bob Dressman's mastermind at the summit or not?
Well, it's not quite that easy. You don't get into the summit by having 500, or you don't get into Bob's thing by having $597. You actually have to apply for it. And the reason for that, Bob, is
because we want to have people in the room that we have a chance of actually helping and that have a chance of helping each other. So, the goal isn't to, like, somebody who is thinking they might want to get into real estate is not the right person to attend this. You have to have done something and have something to contribute to the group and have a real problem that you're trying to solve.
which is not how do I find a deal.
Yes.
It's a true business building mastermind. And if you are sitting there thinking this is all great, but I'm really kind of I'm more like a late stage estate builder. I got my stuff down. I'm not looking to really grow anymore. I'm just looking to become an ender. Then the place for you is probably, rather than Bob's Mastermind on Friday, it is probably the Dealmaker Forum on Thursday, which is
Where
a
Bob's still a
big
big part
room.
of.
Yeah, 50 people max in that room, all of whom are pretty advanced people, more sharing ideas about like real estate and saving taxes and creative deals and where's the economy going and stuff like that. Bob and Sam are co-running that this year. So, and that one we just have a handful of seats left in.
I'm
But
shocked that you're
Bob's
not sold
Mastermind.
out already.
I am too. I sent out an email last week saying to all the people who've been there before saying, hey, price is going up $100 this upcoming week. And I got a bunch of people emailing me back saying, how dare you raise the price $100? You guys are all
Charge them.
multi-millionaires and you are
Yeah,
so freaking cheap.
yeah, charge them. If they didn't sign up last year when they left, it's their fault.
Exactly. I got a Facebook thing from Lee Smith going, since when was it $597 instead of $397? Like since 2018. And he said, I swear to God, I've been paying $397. I said, that's because you signed up at the end of the prior year and you didn't do that this year. So,
I
and
never
also
walk
you
out the
have like
door until
hundreds of
Sarah.
rentals.
Yeah, I never walk out the door until Sarah has me booked for everything for the next year.
Yep. Yep. So I did put the link to apply for Bob's Mastermind in the chat. Now, really what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and pay for it. And then you're going to interview with Bob. And then if Bob thinks that you're not, but like he can't help you, we'll just give you your money back for that. But when we get to 12, it's over. I stuck a 13th person in his room one year and he was so mad. It's like that was too many people. I'm serious, man.
Bob can count. He's highly numeric.
If you're building and you are not applying for Bob's room, you are missing out on one of the greatest events that happen at the summit. The Deal Makers is good, but Bob's event for building a business is probably the most important thing you can do at the summit.
It's a common thread between Dealmaker and the mastermind. Bob's doing both of them.
I think Bob should just run the whole event. Who
Oh,
votes
no.
that Bob just run the entire
I would be
summit?
incompetent at doing that.
I've got to follow up to Ashley to her issue with cash rents. I collected a lot of cash from a lot of tenants for a lot of years because they make good tenants because they cash their checks. Sometimes they get paid in cash and they do not have bank accounts, some of them. So if you have some of these people and you want to try to switch them from cash payments to something else, you may lose them as tenants. So what we did, my wife found,
but they all know how to go to Walmart, and they
right.
can
Well,
take
that's what
their
I was going to
cash to
say is,
Walmart and hand it to the person at Walmart,
but
and
you have
then
to have a system set up for that. And so
yes,
there are systems you can get, and they go to Walmart, they go to Kroger, they go to a whole bunch of different places to the cash centers, and they pay in cash, and it goes straight into your account, and you'd get notified within like 3 minutes via computer that they just made their payment. I mean, it's almost instantaneous. And those cash centers are open like 14, 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I used to meet people 7 days a week to get cash. And when my wife found that service, it saved me so much time and we didn't lose those cash tenants.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. One last thing before we go. Well, actually, two last things before we go. Our monthly help night, which is different than our Sunday night sit down because it's more of we got a whole bunch of people there who can help with whatever the topic is coming up on a week from this Wednesday. So it's Wednesday, the 26th on Zoom. The topic this month, and Damien, I know you and I talked about something different a little online, but I forgot that I had already lined up people to talk about help with managing rentals. So we're going to do help with managing rentals on the 26th. You can sign up for that through CoReRocks.com, CincinnatiREIA.com. Do we have that up on the OREIA calendar, Deborah? I don't even know.
It'll link through the Corey Rocks, but I'll make sure.
Okay. And the other thing is we have so the last couple of years at the summit, we've been doing these bourbon tastings with John Heyer. John is not going to be attending this year, and also we were so tired of you guys stumbling back in completely drunk for the whatever was happening that evening that we've decided to go a little bit different direction this year. Some of you are aware that the very best steakhouse in Cincinnati, Ohio is a place called Carlo and Johnny's.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Absolutely
Yummy.
amazing
It's
freaking
horrible. Don't go.
food. You can't buy
hush,
all the
Sam.
tickets, Sam.
You
Jeez.
hush.
So the thing that we're doing this year is for the first, I think we only have a room for 25 people that pledge $500 to the OREIA pack. Scott and John Bowens are going to take you out to dinner at Carlo and Johnny's with some other VIP type people like Sam. So it's going to be like, you'll get to not only eat really good food, but also hang out with some people that you probably would like to hang out with.
So a
I'll be
$300
there.
meal, and I get to hang out with Scott Ellsworth. Yeah, I'll
Yep,
do
and
that.
Todd and Bob. Todd and Bob will be there too. You can pick their brain and
I love
be
that
good.
he just
It's
volunteered
just
them
going to be us.
to donate.
Forget advertising.
no, it's actually the best part of the summit to me are some of those smaller groups where you actually get to talk to people. And
yeah. So the thing is, this dinner is on Wednesday night. It's not like it's the night before we officially start. So Deborah's going to put the link in the chat where you can go donate $500 to OREIA pack, which that should just make you feel good all by itself. But then
you should
also,
actually give a lot more than $500 to OREIA pack.
You should give thousands of dollars to OREIA pack because it rocks.
Do you want to take a quick second and tell people who are maybe not from Ohio what a OREIA pack is?
No.
Or are we just going to assume they know,
No,
or they're okay with it?
For $500
Okay.
you get to go eat an amazing dinner that honestly would probably cost you half of that anyway. And hang out with really amazing people, and it's for a good cause. That's what you need to know.
There you go.
That's the end of the story. So now if you want to put that link in there, maybe people could actually
I think I did it.
It's already done.
Sign up for it.
You see what she says to me? Oh my goodness.
It's ridiculous.
It's one of the best places to eat in Ohio, regardless.
Working with Vina requires mind.
It does. In her defense, I frequently don't do it correctly. So the link is up there. It is Wednesday, November 4th. It is limited seating. So I will be keeping a really good eye on it. And as soon as we hit that, I'm going to cancel out the link and you will not be available. So it is pretty much sign up before you get to the summit. Unlike occasionally with the bourbon thing, you could do it that weekend. You're going to have to sign up before you get there because it's that Wednesday.
I'm not seeing the link. What am I missing?
What am
I see
missing?
it.
Does everybody else see it?
Yeah.
It's above Damon's
Oh,
last post.
way up there. Okay.
Okay, I'll do it again real
Damien.
quick.
At
Damien, I apologize,
Yeah,
Damien.
I'm sorry. We talk so much about Damon Remy around here that
I know.
none of us
Everybody
can remember.
confuses me with Damon Remy. It's Damien,
And
and
he's
the
the one
last
with the
name
weird name. He's
Yeah,
the one with the
I don't.
weird name. The
Yeah,
name is Damien.
Damien. Be Damien, because you can't pronounce my last name.
That's right. So there it is again. And if unless he finds out ahead of time what's going on, Pete Fortunato will be there at that dinner as well.
So we all have to keep a secret from him.
That's right.
Well, all
We're
we're
not telling him what anything
is
costs.
we're taking him out to dinner.
Okay.
We're not telling him we're taking him out to dinner at a place where the average bill runs about $150 a person, and that's if you don't get drinks.
And we're not jumping out and yelling surprise either, right?
He,
We don't want
he
to.
ordered a cheeseburger. He ordered the cheeseburger the last time we were there, and I freaking lost my mind.
We're
See,
gonna
Doug, there we go.
tell him that his cheeseburger is free because of all the other meals that were bought.
But you know what? You should show up with the Uber Eats. Have the Uber Eats guy come in with a Happy Meal. That would be great.
Oh, Damien, you're
I can think
horrible.
of some people that would do courier service for Vina. I mean,
buy 20 steaks, get one cheeseburger free. That's what we're going to tell him.
Maybe we'll do a Sunday event for those who want $100 and we take you to McDonald's. Maybe he'd do that. What about that? Come on.
Yeah, Pete would be all up for that.
Yeah, he would.
Yep. All right, Bob, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Bob. Awesome.
Oh,
Okay, so we have
Yeah,
somebody who
Casey
says
will
that-
follow up with you.
Okay, what do you mean it's not working for
I click register for it, and it takes me to a page that shows me my event registration. It says you're registered for meeting National Summit.
There's actually a little thing there that says add change. I'm just gonna have Sarah call you tomorrow.
Okay, sorry. I guess I'm being thick.
No, I've been through that too. There's actually a little thing there that says change my reservation, but
if I click edit registration, I can then add it?
There you go.
Got it. Okay, thank you. That's probably what I need then. Thank you.
Make sure Sarah knows I need to do whatever I need to do for me and D.
Okay.
For you and D to do what?
That was really specific, Sam.
If we're going to this meeting, I need to pay, so
To Bob's thing or to the dinner, Sam?
to the dinner.
Well, you need to click the link and swipe your card.
Yeah, you do need
It's
to
not
bathe, Sam. We
working.
do
It
want you to
keeps-
bathe before you come.
Okay.
Sam, I'll reach out to
put
you.
deodorant
That's
on
fine.
for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Casey, if that doesn't work, please reach back out to the summit team.
It does say 697 on that page. Is it it says 597 on the first page, it's 697 on that one. Is it which one is it?
I thought we had fixed that. When you actually try to register, does it still try to charge you $697 or does it only say $697?
Well, on the drop down it says 697, and then on the next page it says balance due 697.
All right. I thought we fixed that last week.
Ashley, you do not have to be a member of OREIA to donate, although we would love for you to join one of our OREIA chapters, but the pack is open to anybody.
So, Ashley, I do want to say, you already belong to Cincinnati. So you are a member of OREIA by default, so you don't join that separately.
There's
Every
default.
local
Cincinnati Re is paying her dues. It's not
well,
default.
It's one of the benefits of being a member.
Okay, that's a better
a
better way to put it there, yeah.
But for everybody else, if you, or especially if you're from out of state, you can still participate. It is not exclusive. So OREIA PAC will take money from across the country. We are pretty indiscriminate about that. All right.
All right, I'll get that fixed for you, Casey, and Sarah will get with you in the morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for spending your night with us.
And thank you, Bob, for all your good advice. And
Night.
we'll see you next month.
See everybody at the summit.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.